give you this website if you want to go to it yourself. And the girls have already changed the the community site and the drawers. So all of the administration has been done for you in all of the offices. Let's go ahead and start with the fire broker service agreement.
Susan, what about unzip forms? Are they there, unzip forms, yeah?
They're supposed to be.
Don't know the answer to that. That's a good question.
They weren't yesterday. I
They
can
were
tell
not
you that.
yesterday?
They were not yesterday.
Now, you know, we do not have any control over zip forms. Is that correct, Long Beach? Or does GTAR still, do they now have control over getting zip forms changed? Or do we still have trouble with that?
No, GTAR has.
So, okay, so we'll check it before we leave here today and see if they know. So if you'll look at paragraph 4, the highlighted places are the changes here. So it says check only those that apply, and then they have added A, B, C, and D, the letters instead of just the boxes. Okay? That's it on that one. Next is the condo association supplemental. This agreement which is attached to you, you can see that, and lines, of course, are on the form. You don't see the lines on there, so that has been added. And then they added Unit Ownership Estate Act. And you can see what that is, restrictive covenants, so it's specific to where you reference the restrictive covenants. All right, on page 1 of the contract of sale, you can see where it says single family mandatory homeowners association. They added the word mandatory. I guess we had a typo before. Shows that they added the letter M. And then townhouse association supplemental is added. On paragraph 1, after the blanks, you will see highlighted the change here, and all underlying groundwater and rights to use groundwater. And then in the second to the last sentence, associated with oil and gas extraction. Nothing on page 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So that's it on the contract of sale. Next is the estimated cost to buyer. They have,
Does anybody use that?
no.
Really?
This is what Terry Foster teaches off of in Career Launch. This is how new people learn.
I've never been taught that.
Really?
Yeah.
You just use the one that's,
MLS.
Yeah.
Plug in.
yeah, exactly. So they've added the space for commission percentage. If you look under 800, they've added and/or for assumption and/or transfer fee, and then added document prep / processing fee. They've added document. And on the second page, under total estimated expenses, they have added less seller's tax prorations. On the FHA insured loan, sorry, I was supposed to be in the light, wasn't I? On page 2, under seller's initials, in the event of a counter offer on an OREC counter offer form, sellers, I added the S, does not initial.
That's good.
Under single family mandatory homeowners association, you see the first paragraph, and then again, just as in the condo form, under paragraph 1, you see the highlighted contents there. In new home construction, under contract documents, you again have the mandatory, the corrected condominium, and townhouse association supplemental. Paragraph 1, the very same changes as in the contract of sale. And then in paragraph 3, it has, or not later than blank days, 5 days if left blank thereafter, caused by a delay of the closing process, but not to exceed 30 days if left blank. So that's a change to the new construction contract. you look at it?
You would,
All right,
was that it?
that's it.
Okay.
On the TRR, treatment costs for termite and other wood destroying insects to be paid according to the terms of the contract. I'm trying to recollect what they had there before. Organisms, that was it. And then they had apparently missed a period after contract, so they corrected that and added a period. Under vacant land, you're gonna see the same highlighted areas as on the contract of sale and the new construction contract. That's it. There. On the cover sheet, confirmation and acknowledgement of disclosures, they have added where areas are initialed. If you look at the third box, transaction broker, where the broker previously entered into written broker agreement as single party, they're requiring two forms with consent area initialed in a written brokerage agreement. And so they've done initialed on both parts. I guess you just checked it before?
Yeah, you just put it, X in it.
That's a good
Now they
change.
have to initial it.
That's a good change, yes. And if they do that, I'm just gonna do a caveat here, if they do that consent after the fact, so let's say you're a single party and now you have a contract of sale and it's both sides, so, have them date those initials. If they're after the time that you're initiating, then please have them dated, so that helps us with our history. And then below, buyer tenant confirms the above, and they added language, and further buyer acknowledges receipt of costs and acknowledges that, and they added residential sales contract information pamphlet. I believe that used to say Oklahoma, something, there was another word after that. So, Oklahoma State. And then under seller landlord, same thing. And they're adding that you need initials, and then also seller acknowledging and a residential sales contract. Yeah, standard clauses, they have made changes, and I'm just gonna tell you what numbers they've made changes to. They did not highlight these, but, they made changes to the first 16 standard clauses.
Just to match the contract, basically?
Yes.
Match the wording.
Yes. How many of you utilize the standard clauses in appropriate matters? Contingencies. Let me just tell you what some of the things are. I love standard clauses because they are drafted by attorneys. So it's the legal language that we need to be using rather than us trying to make it up ourselves. And contingencies are especially dicey when you try to do that on your own, or in fact don't do it on your own and don't have anything protecting the buyer and the seller. So paragraphs 11 and 12, no, 11, they've got a change in the contract conditioned on closing the sale of buyer's house. I don't see one on the sale, so they did. It's not 15 and 16. They changed that. So that's why you need to.
So you
be sure
they have
that-
different numbers.
Yeah, they have different numbers. But you can just see some of the things that they can help you with in language: assignment of escrow account, flood insurance, disclosure clause if a member of a family is buying or selling a property, inspection of septic and water supply in our rural areas. How many times have we seen Dawn and Lisa come through with language that's could be much better served using this? Termite treatment if there's additional costs, if somebody wants to review by an attorney. As-is clause, great to have an as-is clause with the real legal dialogue that we should have. As-is, no inspection. So these are on zip forms, and I really encourage you to utilize them. You don't have to make stuff up, you don't have to rack your brain, it's all right there for you.
And are those, again, are those only access to the MLS, or they, are
from Six Points as well. It's
Yes.
on our website.
And they're on our website. The changes are now as well, the changed ones? Good, thank you. All right, the Townhouse Association supplemental, there's nothing highlighted here. I think this is actually a new separate form. Okay, so Townhouse Association supplemental agreement for the sale of real estate. Now, this is a new form, financial supplemental agreement to the contract of sale seller carry. Let's look at that.
Oh.
So purchase money mortgage